Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews. I'm finally doing an update video on my Bear Creek Arsenal 410 upper. And it was just about 3 weeks from the day that I received notification that it was delivered until the day that it showed back up at my house. They had it for about 2 weeks. I got no email notifications from them. I got no letter from them. I just got notification from FedEx that it was being shipped. And now that I have it back, let's go ahead, open the box, look at it, and see what they did. Again, when I received it, there was no letter in the box. There was no information regarding what they did or what they changed or anything else. It was just an upper in a box. So let's get into it. Now, I didn't really bother doing a full unboxing. You've seen these open up before. There's just a couple of pieces of foam inside the box holding the upper. At this point in the video, I had already added my angled forward grip and my SIG Romeo 5 red dot, but let's go ahead and take a look at just the upper. So again, pretty much looks the same as the other upper that I had. And, you know, I started out inspecting this right out of the box, trying to figure out if this was the same upper I had or if they replaced it. And I found out very quickly that this is actually a completely new upper. Because the uppers aren't serialized, you obviously can't tell from that, but looking at the feed ramp inside of this gun and looking at the condition of the bolt and everything else, I can tell that this was a new upper. And as I started looking at this, again, I'm trying to look at the barrel, trying to find out if they ever fixed the spelling of the word gauge. But as you can see, it still says 410 Gauge. And at this point in time, I think it's pretty funny. I pulled the bolt carrier out of this and looked at it and looked down into the chamber, and I could very quickly tell that they had done a considerable amount of polishing inside the chamber on this. So you can see there, nice machine marks. They look pretty good. I mean, they're not mirror finish, but they look 100 times better than the other one had. And again, looking down into the chamber where the feed ramp is, this does not look like a high school kid took a Dremel and went to town on it. It actually looks like they took a little bit of time trying to get the feed ramp on this thing machined fairly well. It may still have been done with hand tools, but at least it looks like they at least chucked it up and did a decent job trying to get it right. Looking down in the chamber, you can see that there's a lot of burnt gunpowder and oil down into the chamber, and you can also see a little bit of brass on the head of the bolt. Now that's very encouraging because that means somebody actually test fired this gun. And that was one of the things that I put on the letter when I sent it to Bear Creek. I said, listen, you guys have got to do quality control and fire every single one of these uppers before you ship them out to customers. Now, looking at the head of the bolt, and this is a still shot so it's easier to see, I kind of expected something like my fix on this where they may have just shoved an O-ring underneath the face of that, but you can clearly tell that this extractor is a totally different cut and a totally different profile. So something in their design has actually changed where the whole extractor looks totally different than the previous upper that I had. And here again, looking down into the chamber, you can see that the polishing on that feed ramp is much better than the previous upper. Again, this doesn't look like a Dremel was taken to it with just a grinding wheel. Now, in addition to all of that, one other thing that was in the box, they threw in this nice little pocket knife. And I won't say the quality is exceptional, but it's a nice little token. Just, I think, as a we're sorry for messing up and having to take this back. It's got nice wood on it and stainless steel with a bear and a mountain range and some water in the background etched on this thing. And again, just a nice little token. Seems to be a fairly good knife. And one good thing, I couldn't find the words made in China anywhere on this knife. So whether or not they're made in the USA, I'm not really sure, but it does seem to be a pretty decent looking pocket knife. And again, just a nice gesture for them for having to send the upper back and repair it. Now, after my last range trip, I mentioned that I was having issues with the magazines, and I had these 10-round magazines that I found off the internet. Looking back, they're actually the brand of 10-round magazines that Bear Creek offered for sale on their website that have been gone, but I also opted to try to find a different brand, so I found some of these American Tactical or ATI 5-round 410 magazines that I also wanted to try. And in the meantime, while my upper was out for repair, I took it upon myself to sand down the areas on these magazines that were dragging to try to make them install and remove from the gun a lot easier. So the front and back of these magazines, I actually had to take some pretty coarse sandpaper and sand them down. They look a little bit crummy right now, but it was just some rough work to get them to fit better and to try to make the gun feed better. Now the ATI 5-round magazines, they go in a little bit stiff. They have kind of a unique design. On the back of the magazine, there's actually an opening behind the plastic that rides on the back of the magwell, and that's a little bit squishy, so it gives you a little bit leeway. Here you can see me pushing in on it. They're still a little bit tight going into the gun, and I'm not exactly sure if these are going to work as well as the ones that I modified. I may need to sand these down a little bit as well. One other thing about the 5-round magazines is when you insert them into the gun, they kind of seems like the follower drags a little bit when they're moving up and down in the magazine. So again, we'll see how those work. But these 10-round magazines that I worked on, you can see now they slide very easily in and out of the gun, and they release very easily from the mag release as well, which was not the case the last time I used them. One of the two ATI magazines that I have inserts and removes very simply, but the other one seems to be a little bit tighter. Now the 10-round magazines, the last shot hold open doesn't seem to work on the bolt. The 5-round magazines, the last shot hold open does work very well, but again, time will tell when I get this back to the range and I start testing it out as to whether or not both magazines or one works better than the other, or if the whole thing does or doesn't work. But time will tell. I can't wait to get it out and test it again. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.